we're Summon Stories. We're here at Gen Con 2023, and today we're here with Jasmine Bhullar of many fame projects, here promoting DesiQuest first and foremost, but also you have done everything from Geek and Sundry starter kit, vampire stuff. We kind of stole your thing with that, but that's okay. You've played on Seattle by Night. You also write and do background stuff for Critical Role, Dimension 2. You do everything, essentially. You've made it with all the big leagues and still like doing your own thing too, which is awesome. So yeah, but what we kind of start off all of our interviews with is we want to ask, for you specifically, for Summon Stories. So if someone were to try to summon you, they have a ritual circle, they've put out their stuff, right? You need some items to like bring you out. What 3 items would someone need if they're trying to summon Jasmine Bhullar?
Yeah, black coffee.
Hey, that's my most consistent answer.
Yeah. I would say black coffee, Scotch bonnet chili peppers.
Okay.
And the 3rd item would be a picture of a cat.
Any cat?
Probably my cat.
Gomez? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Because I feel like I would come back to the dead if he was just like, I need you.
If he needed you, like, that would be the last thing to pull you through.
That's my drive to become a lich, is so that me and my cat can live forever.
Like that, you think your cat's gonna outlive you in this scenario?
Listen, pet cemetery type of stuff has been known to happen.
Okay. I can't argue with that. Okay. Starting off with a little bit Desi thing. What do you think it means to make something Desi? As far as like you've taken D&D and you're Desifying it or whatever word you're using.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
I think it means like looking through this lens of like what our in-jokes are. There's certain types of like references we get like to each other amongst Desi people that we want to share with an outside audience. And I think it's also like from the beginning to like from the top to the bottom of production, it's not just what you see on camera, it's like what happens behind the scenes.
Right.
So like there's people like our DP, Joy Rasul, Desi, like we had a makeup artist who's Desi who consulted on the project, and another makeup artist who was on set who's Desi. And it was the coolest set we've ever been on because we've never had this experience of like small things like playing Bollywood music in the makeup room before you go on and getting ready together in like traditional garb that we usually only wear during weddings. And so it was like a really unique cultural experience, and I'm really excited for everybody else to experience that, because even like this entire hobby, whether it's like Ren Fair, whether it's even Warhammer, as much as I love it, it's all very Eurocentric. And any little piece I can get of even Warhammer lore that's like other cultures, I jump at it and leap at it, because I'm like, our people exist in these worlds too, we're just not getting to see them. And so I wanted to bring that to D&D, I guess, a little bit.
And kind of jumping off of that with how you picked your cast, at least for my observation was, it was less of let me find like the D&D people, or let me find the ones who are like, these are our PR for the entire community, and you're like, let me just find really good performers, and if we bring them together and we all have some of these cultural things that we understand, like it's gonna work out. So how was it sort of the thought process when building the cast?
Yeah, so it started with me and Anjali. We really wanted to do this project, and Janina, who unfortunately we couldn't get for filming because like the dates didn't work out the way we wanted them to, but it started with me and Anjali, and everybody else I like met through the process. And like Sandeep had only played D&D with the guild, but he was an improv performer, and he had produced this series called Wizard School Dropout, which was like, you know, the show that he wanted his nieces to watch. And so I saw like a shared sort of creative vision there. And from there, like I found Rika through Dimension 20 stuff. And I definitely didn't go into this of like, who's playing D&D and who's Desi. It was more of like, who do I know that I think can do this and that I think would have fun? And that's also how I stumbled across Omar. Was just like kind of by a happy accident. And really, this entire production was like so emotional for me because it's people I've known since Geek and Sundry.
Right.
And like our director Shabak, I met on Coffin Run. Our makeup artist Diana Knudsen, I met at Geek and Sundry. And same thing with Ash Minnick, our wonderful producer, and Regan. like everybody on the set was people that I've known for like 3 or 4 years, which is like really weird to go from me being the newest person at Geek and Sundry kind of right before it all ended to then heading up my own production with people I met back then. And so it was really full circle for me. It was really cool.
As something kind of along the lines of that is, for me, Shakar is very much like, obviously your NPCs are like super messy
Yeah.
and are amazing, but they're interacting with people who aren't.
Mm-hmm.
So how was the difference of like, now I'm doing these NPCs, but like everyone's in on it and I'm getting like reaction? Was there like, did you feel a difference between like that interaction is what I was interested in?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference in the interaction because you can't DM Visi people without realizing that they will never disrespect an elder. But no offense to European people, I don't think they have that. Like if somebody's like a little bit older and is rude to them, they'll be like, don't you talk to me like that. But with Visi people, if you have someone that's older that's like, I'm not gonna do that, they're like, okay. And so that was actually like really fun because I could play these characters like Rick I was saying earlier, like Indian aunties are rude. There's no two ways about it. They're kind of mean, but we know they come from a good place and they love you. Mm-hmm. And there's some toxic behaviors, but they're coming from a good place. I could take bigger swings like that with this cast, knowing that they knew I kind of know who this character is. I'm related to this character in my real life, and she still has a heart of gold underneath all of that. Whereas when I DM on Shakar, they don't always have that point of reference. Mm-hmm. So I have to like I can't come out of the gate swinging with a, have you gained some weight? It's like, no, you don't.
Right. And
but that is the first thing an Indian auntie will say is either you're not eating enough, and if you gain some weight, you're eating too much. You're never going to be the ideal weight for an auntie. It just doesn't happen.
That's why I love about your NPCs is like they're prickly, but like there's heart there, and they're like, I would hang out with them, but like, why are they talking to me like this? And normally with like a party, once the group turns on an NPC, it's like, all right, I'm never gonna get it back.
Yeah.
But it's. I feel like you have more room to explore that of like they can come in swinging, and the party won't turn on them for being like she can't talk to us like this. We're adventurers.
A lot of Visi people talk mad shit. Like it's literally, I do not know why. We constantly roast each other like all the time, and the cast does that too. We just like start roasting each other like all the time, and there's no ill intent behind it. It's just like we even have like a phrase in Punjabi called "onu gal aandi hai," which is like it's how you describe somebody that knows how to talk. And it's just somebody who's entertaining. Mm-hmm. Like if you can crack jokes and crack insults and roast people, they will sit you in the middle of the barbecue and be like, no, he's the funny one. Yeah. This is the funny guy.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because, like I said, you have certain NPCs that have like they're such a shit, but like I love them, and I'm really excited. I'm like, I hope we'll see sort of their versions in DesiQuest.
Yeah.
You have an obnoxious kid. You have a kid voice. You do like your stuffy child.
I do, yeah.
I've heard in multiple things. I'm like,
yes.
It feels like that's like the Jasmine canon. This kid,
this child. What's funny is the child there's a child that I played in our session 0 that you see a grown-up version of in the campaign, and it's funny because like you'll see the players. They're very divided. Some of them are like, no, this is my baby, and it's a grown man. And the other half is like, fuck that guy. And you don't have any context for it because it's like our inside joke of like, oh no, the party met him when he was like 7 and he was a little shit, you know? Yeah, they're still traumatized, yeah.
On the topic of talking shit and whatnot, you want to go into your...
Yeah. So it feels like in everything I've watched you in, whether it be playing video games or, playing a character, you're very unapologetically yourself. Mm-hmm. And I was just curious, like, how did you decide to not just put on a persona? I'm sure some of it is like a little bit of a persona. We all do at least something, even if it's just the makeup or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you curse like a sailor, and I love that. And you don't take shit from anyone. Mm-hmm. And I was just curious, like, was there an evolution to that, or has it been like that from the start?
There 100% was an evolution to it when I started, because I started on Twitch and then eventually stumbled into D&D backwards, D&D and Vampire first and then D&D. And it really came from like this feeling of like, I can't make everybody happy, because I used to be like super acquiescing when I started. And there's so much like concern trolling on Twitch and Twitter of people willfully misinterpreting what you say. And you sit there trying to like talking yourself blue in the face, trying to explain yourself to people that probably don't want to.
Anyway.
Yeah. And people that would come in and just be outright like racist or horrible, I would ban them, and then they would just make another account and come back. And I realized really quickly, like if I roast them, then number one, my audience enjoys it, and number two, a lot of the time they don't come back because now they're a Twitter clip.
Yeah.
Like they are content for me, and they've done the complete opposite of what they wanted to do, because they wanted to make me feel less than, and they wanted me to stop streaming because of all this harassment.
Yeah.
And instead, when I turn it into, oh, this is going to go on TikTok, and I'm actually going to get a ton of followers from this. And most of my Twitter following came from that, like viral clips of me roasting people that came into my stream being homophobic or being racist. And they see that, and they see that I've made an example of them, and they don't make other accounts and come back because it's just more content for me.
It's like reverse bait, where instead of them getting a clip of you reacting, you're like, thank you for my clip of destroying you.
Yes. I'm like, this is just free follows.
And you decided to do like Marvel and 40K and ttrpg, all like the most white European spaces you can be. That's where you're like, this is where I'm gonna, these are the people I'm gonna ride with.
I joke too that I have like the personality of a man from the Midwest. Like, I unironically wear like cowboy
I've never
boots.
heard that used remotely as a compliment. So
Yeah.
this is huge, actually.
No, I am like a
I'm
brown
getting
fucking
emotional.
Hank. Like, okay, Hank is from Texas, but I relate to like Hank Hill. And there's times where I'm like, oh no, like, is that good? But I like flannel. I don't like, if it's cold inside, just wear a jacket. You don't need to turn up the heat all the time. I have a lot of like Midwestern dad tendencies. Yeah, and that jacket one is real, because people be like, your house is cold. I'm like, put on a jacket. And they're just like, put on your heat. And I'm like, oh, don't touch the thermostat. And I've been like that like since I was like 16, and I don't know why, but I do have like that, I don't know, old white man energy.
You like have that energy, but also don't pander to that at all. But also like, it feels like you've carved out like other people in these spaces that might not have like been super welcome, and you just kind of have your own squad.
100%, yeah.
And
and a lot of them have that energy too. I think that's a big part of why I don't put up with nonsense, is like, I
can listen to you and Balvin talk shit.
Balvin is my best friend.
That's squad, I paired my, I'm not going to say who I stopped following. I follow you and Balvin. And a lot of other people, not just you two.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, me and Balvin have been playing Remnant 2 lately on stream, and it makes me laugh because it's like we do talk so much shit to each other, where it's just, and we have like in jokes, and so I think that is like a colored people thing, where we will just like talk shit to each other. I'll be like, I carried you, that was all me. You know, and it's like that almost like hostility. And there's been times like I'm not even gonna say white people don't get it, because some white people get it, but there have been like the very positive streamers that I've gone and like done that same shit talking to, and they're just like, oh, that was mean, and I'm like, okay, well.
I was actually having a lot of fun.
It wasn't that rude. You would know if I was being rude to you. That was just me saying, you know. Because and it was just a joke. We were playing like a game, and I was like, well, if you could turn your monitor on, you might be able to hit something. And that was like apparently really mean. But I say that to Balvin all the time. I'm like, yo, did your controller die? Because you're not doing shit right now.
Yeah.
It's very, very refreshing. It was an inspiration for us a little bit of like, you know, it's like, all right, we have to be a certain way. It's like, what if we just don't? And hope the right people stick around to deal with the headache of the rest. It seems like you've like mastered that, because again, you're in with like all the biggest names and stuff, so like I feel like you've like mastered that.
I tried. Thank you so much.
Before I dive back into
with you starting your own production, have you gotten to be involved in like all parts of the production, like the editing and the stage setup and just the creating of everything? What has been your favorite part?
Oh man, so that actually started back on Coffin Run. I realized I wasn't really a backseat DM because I supervised the edits on Coffin Run, and I was a big part of like the creative direction coming into it. And so for DesiQuest, I feel like I had a little bit of experience under my belt. Still wasn't completely prepared for everything that entails, but like, yeah, everything down to like the fonts on the credits is something that we go over. It's nice to have a team to help me do all of that. But I think my favorite part of the production was probably, it's gonna sound so weird, but our wonderful director, Michael Strabach, who's directed literally every single season of Dimension 20, would pick me up from my place and drive me to set every day. And that 30 minutes where we would sit and envision how the day was gonna go, like me as the showrunner and him as the director, was my favorite part of the day every day. And I want to do a season 2 just so I can have that 30-minute commute with him again. And he would always bring me coffee.
Oh, that's huge.
And he would remember my coffee order. Yes.
He's also the showrunner?
I'm the showrunner, he's the director.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's freaking amazing. And he would just be like, hey, we're going to have a great day. Your coffee's in the cup.
You should record that. You should do
I
a
know.
dash cam and just
love
like have
him
that.
so much. And he's such a big part of the reason why Dimension 20 is successful. And I was so honored to have him, but like really sitting down with him and planning, like, these are our goals for the day. This is the narrative point and emotional point we intend to hit today. And then knowing him as the director, me as the showrunner, we're like in sync on this. And then seeing it happen, like being like, today we're gonna have a really big story moment for Sandeep. And our goal is to get Sandeep to have this character moment or have this resolved this way or this way. And then hitting it because we're just both working in sync to make it happen. But yeah, those little morning meetings, best part.
That's awesome.
On one thing I wanted to really get in with this, that I was the most excited about, you call it the tea kettle?
Yeah.
Which, can you explain that? It seems like it's a place where you just bring people back to fuck with them and get them nervous about something, but away from the other group, so the rest of the group's also nervous about what's going on.
Yes, that is my little fuck around and find out room. The tea kettle's a place that it's weird. It's kind of multiversal, and the in-canon explanation of it is that this is a certain deity's tea kettle, and it floats in the cosmos. And so it exists a little bit out of time and space. And if you watch the season, you'll find out why that is. But we use it to do recaps. So some of the conversations are out of character, but also like in character. And it's where the players kind of barter with me, the DM, to have things go one way or another. And so the other players usually have no clue what's happening in there. They can only assume. And it's kind of refreshing because a lot of times when you have those one-on-ones at the table, everybody can kind of hear and they have to pretend they didn't know. This way, they just don't know. They just have no clue. They have to like guess at it. And so it becomes this like kind of scary thing. And we specifically designed it so that you feel like it's kind of close and it's a mixture of cozy, but also like isolating. And it was meant to be that way.
That's awesome.
Did that come like after, like, okay, here's the campaign, here's what I'm doing, this would be cool? Or is this like a show thing you thought of and you've been waiting to put it in something?
Yeah, it was a show thing I thought of, and this is a show I wanted to do it on. And eventually, and this is the funny part, the players figured out that every time they come to the tea kettle, they get shy. Every single time. So then it became like, well, I need a visit to the tea kettle. And I'd just be like, because you want a cup of chai. Like it became like a little timeout place for them to have a cup of tea. Yeah, it's funny, but yeah.
So I don't know if we're allowed to say season 2 stuff. You just said it. You said earlier in this. Is there other like systems or games that you think would get like the Desi treatment of like Desi Vampire, Desi whatever, or is it sort of this feels unique to D&D, or is it something you think you could start doing this treatment to other systems?
It definitely doesn't feel unique to D&D, and we specifically named it like DesiQuest instead of Desi Dungeon something because it's like I can totally see us doing a mothership game, doing I love World of Darkness, so I would love to do like a Hunter the Reckoning game with British vampires. Like I think that would be so much fun. Yes. And I love the idea, like, yeah, even mouse guard. Why can't there be Indian mice, like, or Pakistani mice, or Bengali mice? Like, I think that would be really fun. And I also think it's something like we haven't seen. We haven't seen like a little mouse in a sari. Yeah, and in Animal Crossing they introduced saris, and there's like this little elephant that came to my island, and I put her in a sari, and I was like, oh! Like, I did not like this game, but now this one thing has made me, like, I can't put this down because this little elephant's walking around in a sari, and I just about lost my shit. And ever since then, I've been like, oh, we should have animals in Indian clothing. Like, I want. It would be hilarious. It would be amazing. One day it's gonna happen.
Okay. Well, anything else? I'm good. We'll let you go. This has been awesome.
Thank you
Very
so
excited.
much.
That's good. Where do you want people to go to find you and support you and do stuff like that?
I'm that bronze girl everywhere, and I'm mostly on Twitch. I'm mostly on Twitch, Twitter, if that still exists. I guess X now. I say bitterly at X. Telling people to go find me on X.com sounds like it's something else.
That's what I said. I was like, what is this name?
Twitter, I don't know, but yeah, I'm that bronze girl everywhere.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you.
it for us. It's been Jasmine Bhullar. See you later. Bye.
I'm sorry, what? Greg.
It's Goiko. You don't have to remember.
It's like
Serbian.
any changes it so people don't have to figure
Oh, Goiko.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I heard, because you're all the way across the room, I heard gargoyle, and I was like, that's probably not his name.